All right, you can just get started on doing some gapping on this Chevelle. Um, I've already gone quite a ways on this side, and I'll show you the other side as I do it. But I had to grind the edge of the door back. Up here, it was almost touching. So it came in here, and so I grounded back so it's all even. This was all bulged out here. So I put a piece of wood inside, a 4x4. Well, actually, I took the fender off and did it. But I put a piece of wood on the back of it, and then on this side, I hit it with a 2x4 and a sledgehammer on this side, and got this curve nice. What else do we do? And then so this is 3/16 plate. It just worked out that I had a piece of scrap that would come over this far. It had a gap in here. You could put, of course, you can kind of see how wide it was, and the other side's touching. So, and then as you can see, the piece is all the way over this way. See the hole here? It lines up. And then up here had a big, huge gap in it. So normally I wouldn't make it this tight, but if we're going to tighten them up, we're going to tighten them up. So anyway, we got that all clean. It's got a little overage right here. I got to cut off later on, but that'll be a nice, clean little gap right there. The hood was had such a wide gap up here. I could put my pinky in here, and it just looked odd as hell. I could almost go another level. This is 1/8" welding rod, and it's nice. It gives it an almost exact straight piece of even metal. It's even cheap, using rod like that. Anyway, like I said, I could almost add another one on the other side and push the hood over this way and make it a little tighter. But Chevelles have a notorious chipping problem. So anyway, I'm gonna leave that a little wider. What else over here? This is the good side. So you can see what I'm up against, how it pinches in here at the top. So I need to bring it back so that it lines up with this edge here, and then I'm gonna bring this edge here back to line to that. You can see how tight it is over here. This is all nice and clean. I can deal with that, but this I can't. That's not gonna fly. And at the bottom, you got the fat gap. You can see that. It gets wider as it goes to the bottom. You can't really see on the camera as bad as you can see it in person for sure. So that I'm probably going to add to the door on this side because I have room to do that, and I'll add to the door edge, and then that should fill in the gap to make it even top to bottom. I'll use the 1/8" welding rod again. Now the back, you can see how it's got like a belly here that gets really tight at the middle. So I'm going to grind that off, weld that edge back up again, and the door should fit. So real quick, this happens a lot so I got this car already half started, which is like kind of how I get about half the cars I do, because people can't finish things, it seems like. The bottom there, when you replace that, or you do that patch, they use the whole patch panel. I don't understand why people do that. If you're gonna patch a patch in, and say the rust is right at the bottom down here, and you use a patch all the way to the top up here, why? Why use all that metal? Just use up what you need. And even then, why do you should be able to make that. That's fucking 101. But if it's a pretty good sized rust ball, I understand, but why use more than what you need to repair the rust? Using the whole patch panel creates more problems, and that's why it's fat right there. You can't even hardly see it in the camera. Let me do this. See that, how fat it is right there? It's like that because that's where the patch panel goes to. Other problem is that when you do these patches, all right, do them while it's on the car. Don't take the fender off thinking that you're going to take that all apart and weld it back together again and to go back on the car the way it's supposed to. It doesn't happen like that. Usually what happens is they get hot and they warp out the bottom, and then put this little flag hanging out the bottom down here. And so I got to come back, I got to cut someone else's work out, I got to bend everything back into place again and re-weld it. Do the repair on the car. Don't take the fender, and have a door on it. Have a door on it and do the repair on the car so you can line that up as you're doing the welding. Otherwise, we end up with what we have here. This is actually a mild example. I had some real nightmares with people taking fenders off and doing a repair off the car. I understand taking it off and cleaning it up, getting all that done, then get it back on and get it in position, and then weld the patch in, so it lines up. I think this is actually a problem of they put the patch in too far back, or for some reason they end up with actually adding extra metal to it, and now I can't put the fender back where it belongs completely because of the rocker. So I have a choice: either add metal to the door, cut the rocker off, or cut the fender off so it'll go back. And I think the lesser three evils is welding metal to the edge of the door. That's why we're going to do that. So anyway, I'll get that done, and I'll show you how to do it as I go, and it'll give you some ideas how to do gapping in your car. Some people get way out there in their gapping. They get super tight, like a Mercedes. This isn't that kind of car. These cars flex too much. You can't do that. You can if it's going to be a show car. You're never going to drive it. But they're going to drive it. Making the gap super, super tight, especially on the doors and fenders, you're just asking for problems. Anyway, see you in a bit. So I started looking at this gap here and how it was going to have a jump backing up. And I thought it looked like shit. So I decided to go ahead and redo it. I'm going to cut it even with the fender and extend the A-pillar here a little bit. So I did that and reshaped the back of it and gave it a little bit of a little more gap. So anyway, I think it would look dumb with the thing hanging out the back of the fender. So anyway, I cut that back, redid that, and that's the way I'm doing the other side too. So anyway, moving forward, I'm going to go ahead and pull this fender off and I'll weld the front of this door up. And then I'm going to go to the other side and we'll get started on the other side. I want to get this side done first because the welder's over here and just saves time to pull back and forth. Okay? All right, see you in a bit. All right, I'm not going to bore you with the rest of it. That's basically how I work it. You grind them, mold them all up, grind it all back, make sure it fits, put the fender back on, make sure the fender is still right. Sometimes you got to grind it back a little more than what you think you would, but just weld them all up, grind it back, and then you have a door gap. So that's on this side. That's how we're going to add some metal to the bottom of it. We'll get on that in a few minutes. Okay? Bye now. All right, there it is, welded up. I ground it back already a little bit. I'm gonna put the fender on, finish it if it needs a little more touching up. Hopefully the grind is not too far. Sometimes I have a habit of going too far. You have to re-weld it again. Anyway, so I'm gonna put the fender back on and see if the gap's good and then move to the other side. Bye now. All right, so that's all welded up. Got a little gap up there, brought this edge back down here, so now it lines up here much better. Otherwise having a knob coming back from the fender would look stupid. So anyway, I fixed that, weld this all up here. Did it all, ground it all back, round the edge off a little bit. Now I'm gonna go to the other side and get the other side done. So there we go. Gapped up on the passenger side. So onward and upward. I'll see you in a little bit. All right, gang, so we're getting ready to weld this rod on this door. I got a magnet here to give me a hand, holding it in place to get this edge just started. Once it gets started, it's ready to go. So even the rod is not quite big enough to fill in this whole gap where it should match up here. So I'm gonna space it out about a 1/16 of an inch there. Get a little bit more. So you gotta kind of focus on that gap right there up to here. So I'm gonna keep that gap And as I weld it, I'm going to bend the rod in and bend it to form the rest of it. Magnet we don't need anymore. We'll give it a little bit of tweak here. Alright, so we're going to weld it up, and then we're going to come back and grind it back. Of course, you're not going to use all this rod that come up here, but you need a little start here, and it'll feather out as it come down. So the bottom here got a little in. Bend that back out there a little bit, because it wants to cut back right there. So that's the start of how we're going to do it. So I'm going to go ahead and weld all that up, then I'm going to cut it off. I'm going to go down the bottom, probably start to form it, go down the other way on the bottom, and then fill the gap in. So it will make that look a lot neater when we're all done. All right? Bye now. Really hard when you're welding this stuff up. When you have the Basset Hound, it has to be in your lap the whole time. What do you think, Waylon? You going to help me weld this? Hey, Waylon, say hi. Say hi. Come on, don't be camera shy. Say hi. Huh? Say something. Come on, you're talkative all the time. You're not gonna say nothing. What? You mad at me? Bye. All right, we got the gap pretty close. So I'm gonna go ahead and this kind of sunk in a little on me right here in this section right here. I'm gonna go inside and knock this out from the inside with a drift, get it back where it needs to be at. And then I'm gonna take the fender off and grind this back and then do the rest a little bit with the file to make it nice and smooth with a regular, hand file. All right, so here we go. All right, before I pull the fender off, I figured I'd go ahead and take care of this gap up here. So I found a piece of 16 gauge scrap. What I'm gonna do is I cut it down so it's about the same thickness as the A-pillar here. I'm gonna put it in here like this. Hold that in place. Probably going to pull it like this, make it even. So we end up with a gap about that big. So what I'm going to do now is weld this in before I pull the door off, or before I pull the fender off. I know. All right, you can get the idea now. It's tacked in place. I'm going to finish welding it after I get the fender off it, but you can see the gap. There's the gap right there. It's nice and clean. It'll match over here and over here. So that should look pretty nice when it's all done. Along with that one. All done. I gotta do the back door yet, but I'm gonna get this all finished up and then pull the fender off. All right, well, you can see when it's all painted what it looks like all together. It's clean. Sides all nice and nice, all the way down. Other side. So, all nice and gapped. Came out pretty good. Had to move this line over here because, of course, we added the extra here. So I moved the line over to here. And then the hood gap is still a little wide. But for, it's kind of what you get when you get one of these half bucket hoods. Could have added one more piece of metal to it and made it really tight. But you know what? It was just too tight. Could be a problem too. So, anywho, there it is. That's how we gap them. All right, bye now. Do me a favor and like and subscribe.